Something we've been asked in a couple of recent demos and actually also in support emails is whether it's possible in the Adaptable Blotter to create a filter which doesn't just compare against a value but actually compares and filters against values in other columns. And the answer is yes, it's very easy to do it. And in fact, we allow you to extend that functionality in very interesting ways, which we'll show you in this video. So first, let's create a very simple, what we call cross-column filter. And we're going to do it for the ask column. And we're going to say we want to see any column, any row where the value in the ask is less than the value in the Bloomberg ask column. So how do we do that? Well, the most simple way is just to create a filter. And instead of looking at the individual values, which we do here, we're going to use an operator. So we're going to say less than. And instead of putting in a value, so to say less than 100 or less than whatever, we're going to do less than another column. So we click column here. And then we can choose the Bloomberg ask column here. So that's what we've done. Let's close that. And you can now see that there's some rows missing. So it jumps from 15 to 26, etc., etc. And if you want to see whatever column filter is being applied at any time, you can look at the column filter toolbar, click the info, and you can see we're looking at where ask is less than Bloomberg ask. So that's a very simple cross-column query, cross-column filter. But what happens if you want to run that filter again and again? That's something which you're continually interested in. Well, instead of needing to do it each and every time, you can create a user filter so that it becomes a one-time operation. So let's first clear the existing user filter so we get all the row IDs back. And let's create a user filter. We're going to create it for the ask column. And we're going to say we want for the ask column, again, not to look at column values, but to look at ranges. We're going to create a new range and we're going to say where it's less than, and again, rather than putting in a raw value, we're going to compare it against another column and choose the Bloomberg ask column. So we've said where the ask is less than Bloomberg ask. That's the name of our user filter. You can see that's the name, ask is less than Bloomberg ask. It works on a column ask, and the query is ask is less than Bloomberg ask. Very straightforward. Let's close that. And now, if I go back into my filter for the ask column, you can see that filter now appears in all the user filters. So if I click on it, it automatically filters the grid exactly as it did last time. We jumped from 15 to 26. We're only seeing where the ask is less than the Bloomberg ask. So that's a user filter. And the nice thing about that user filter, and you can see it's operating here, is that you can actually use that in other functions as well. So let's clear that. And let's imagine we want to run a search. We only want to see rows where the currency is, say, euro, and the ask is less than Bloomberg ask. So let's do that. Let's create a query. So we'll start with, not counterparty, I said currency, didn't I? Let's go into currency, and let's go to euro. And now, well, there we are, currency is euro. We're going to add another column condition, and this time for the ask column. But instead of doing it on column values, we're going to do it on filters, because that filter now exists. There we are, the ask is less than Bloomberg ask. We call that, let's just call it test search. Normally you'd give it a better name, that's the search. The currency is euro and the ask value is less than Bloomberg ask. That's the name of our user filter. And now you can see we're only seeing euros and we're only seeing where the ask is less than Bloomberg ask. Equally, you could, for instance, create a, what can we do? Let's do a conditional style exactly the same way. So you can say, I'm going to paint the whole row to be red with that for color, where, and again, it's exactly the same as we've seen, where the ask column has the filter of ask is less than Bloomberg ask apply. And this time we see all the rows in the grid, but only those which meet our criteria are colored that way. So there we are. That's a cross-column filter, cross-column query, which is not only used merely to filter in that column itself, but can be used in all the other adaptable blotter functions, in reports, in searches, in filters, anywhere you want. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Any questions, please get in touch. Thank you.